Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Asha Padhiar and I'm here to provide you with a talk based on taking a year out after your foundation training. I thought this was quite a good topic to discuss. I think there's probably a lot of junior doctors out there that may be considering this at the moment and maybe not sure whether this is the right choice. I'm somebody who took 2 years out before entering specialty training and you know, from my point of view, I thought it was the right choice for me. So hopefully with a lot more information and insight that I'm going to give you today, you can make that choice for yourself and make the right one for you. Firstly, I just wanted to touch on the foundation program. It is a very intense 2 years, I feel. You are stepping yourself up from a med student to a doctor pretty much sort of overnight, and your level of responsibility rises dramatically with this. You know, you're sort of the doctor that is based on the wards most of the time. You are the one that is sort of doing all the work. You know, when, you know, the seniors are maybe in theatres or they're in clinics, you are there all the time. So a lot of the burden falls on the junior doctors. And that includes, you know, finishing all the jobs from the ward round, attending to sick patients and medical emergencies and all the other jobs in between. You then have this expectation that you complete an online e-portfolio, and within this there are lots of requirements, including just proving that you're competent in some of the skills that maybe you've done even throughout medical school. You are asked to discuss sort of cases, present cases, and also complete audits and quality improvement projects. And with your clinical workload plus sort of the rota that you have, it's very intense, very busy, and can be very exhausting, that you feel like you don't have time to get everything done. And after foundation training is finished, you kind of have two options. One is to go directly into specialty training, and the other is take a bit of time out. Just to say, if you are somebody who's considering going into specialty training, please do bear in mind that in your foundation training, you will have to sort of be a bit aware of what your application sort of requires of you, and you'll have to complete all of those things prior to the application process, which is at the beginning of your second year of foundation. So it ends up being that in your first year, you're already prepping for your application, and that kind of can add a bit more pressure and stress onto you, especially already you have a big workload and you're already in a bit of a stressful environment sometimes. So just bear that in mind. But I'm going to focus a bit more on taking a year out. So there are some myths behind taking a year out. People say, oh, it's a waste of time, and oh, maybe I'm at a disadvantage when I apply for training. But actually I can sit here and say that's absolutely not the case. So taking a year out, firstly, should not be seen as a bad thing. You can achieve a lot in that year out. You don't need to be in a contracted training program to, you know, be successful or anything like that. One thing I will recommend is that if you are planning to take a year out, try and have a plan of what you want to do in that year, what you want to achieve, have a bit of a rough timeline. I think that's a really sort of key thing to have, so then you know that you've maximised on that year properly. So talking a bit more about it, at the moment, the NHS is, you know, very overworked at the moment. They're under immense sort of pressures, and that kind of falls on all the staff and also on the junior doctors. So burnout is actually a very real thing at the moment, and it is at an all-time high. So sometimes taking that year out will allow you to sort of pull back, have a bit of time to yourself, relax and recharge. And it allows you to do some of the things that you enjoy, like by, you know, socialising and reconnecting with people in your life that maybe you haven't seen for a long time, taking up new hobbies, and also just maybe travelling. You know, these sorts of experiences are all very vital for yourself, even as a future applicant as well. Interviewers will look at these sorts of things to see how well-rounded you are. It also just allows you a bit of time to prepare for the application. So you can use that time and say, actually, what do I need to do? I need to do this exam to gain another point or 2 points or however many points there are. So it allows you some time to revise, sit an exam, and gives you the best chance of passing the first time round. So it is beneficial in that sort of way because it can be sort of, taken in a way to help you prepare for your applications and sort of your future career. The other thing here is that if you're somebody who is a bit undecided about which direction you want to go in, whether one specialty is sort of your calling or another, take that time out to have a real good think about it. Maybe try and gain some clinical experience in these areas to see which you prefer, what are the opportunities that you have once you're in that specialty training, and so on. Then you can think about what sort of relevant things that you need to have for the applications, and you can build it up like that and use that year really proactively. Don't rush these decisions just because everyone else around you might be. You have to do what's right for you. So if it means that you take a time out for 1 year, then then that's fine. There is absolutely no rush to complete your training and become a consultant, because you'll be doing this job day in, day out for the rest of your life, or however long you choose to work. So please don't think that you're at a disadvantage because of time or anything like that. Everybody's journey is a little bit different. And if it is that you take a year out or even take 2 years out, that's absolutely fine as well. The other thing here as well, it gives you a bit of a chance to figure out where your priorities might be. What do you want from your work? Do you want a really good work-life balance, or do you feel like, no, I really want to be in the hospitals and I want to be in the forefront, the front line, or whatever you kind of feel, you can gauge yourself properly without being coerced by lots of other people around you because of what they're doing. You can make that choice for yourself. I know a lot of people as well that have travelled a lot in this year out, and not only have they travelled, they've actually worked abroad. So it's been like a very dual purpose thing. They've gone to the other side of the world, like Australia, New Zealand, and they've worked there, and they've been able to travel that part of the world and enjoy every aspect of it. And coming back and sort of applying for sort of specialty training and talking to interviewers about your time out, they are so interested in knowing what you got up to. They want to know all the things that you saw, what things did you do, what clinical experience you gained, what life experience did you gain. They want to know that you're a very well-rounded applicant, and you know how to have a life outside of your career, that you find joy in other hobbies and things like that. They want to know that you have lots of other things about you apart from just the medicine. So that is actually quite a good benefit here. If you're someone like me who has a little bit of an interest in teaching and medical education, you can apply for jobs that are teaching fellowships. And this allows you not to really have much of a clinical role, but more of an academic sort of educational role. My post was 1 year, and I was a sort of teaching fellow where I predominantly was involved in the educational aspect for medical students that were there on their placements. And it gave me the opportunity to teach sort of other things like simulation-based teaching and things like human factors. And I also was able to sort of have a bit more of an organisational role within the team, where I was able to sort of help sort of facilitate and organise sort of events and courses that were run by the team there. And I gained a postgrad certificate in medical education. And all of these things actually benefit in your application in the future. You gain more points with lots of these sorts of experiences. So don't ever feel like taking this year out to do something, totally different. Don't think that actually that puts you at a disadvantage, because actually it makes you better. It gives you more experience, and they like that you've taken the time out to do lots of other things before applying, because you know exactly what you want. You've still sat here and said, I still want to do this specialty. So they'll know that you really want it. So there's lots of things here that the year out can provide you with, whether you just take some time out to chill and just locum, or whether you go the full whack and start working and gaining some other experiences in other clinical areas, just so you know if that's a career for you in the future. I think there's so much benefit here. Nobody should rule it out completely. But yeah, hopefully that's provided you a bit more information, and hopefully you'll be making the choice for you. Thank you very much for listening. Take care. Bye.
Today I'm going to be talking about working as a healthcare professional with a chronic health condition. 40% of women with endometriosis worry about losing their job. And that's probably because 55% have had to take time off due to the condition. So personally, I have had to take time off. I couldn't even walk to the kitchen to get a drink, let alone do a 12-hour shift. Yet my husband still had to convince me to call in sick.